Well, hello everyone, it's Kari and I'm back to share some really beautiful goodies from Crafty Meraki. This is the new Mosaic Maze Meraki shimmer plate, so they're for hot foiling, and this is the Majestic Motif hot foil plate, and there's also a coordinating die. You can use these together or you can use them separately. And this is the new Succulents dies. I love this set so much. There's also a Terrarium add-on that you can purchase, and these work so well together. I was really excited to create with these. And so today we're going to create a couple of different cards using all of these supplies, and I'm going to show you some ideas for them as well. I'm going to be using my Gemini foil press today to hot foil those hot foil plates, but my cord to the foil press does not reach to my plug when I have it on the desk here. So I'm going to hot foil it on the other side of the room, but I did want to show you I've got a bunch of hot foils here. There's some from Deco foil. I've got some Glimmer hot foils here and some beautiful colors that I thought would work really well with those succulents. I've got a green one here that's kind of a shattered glass look. Of course, you have to try some rainbow, right? And then this one is one of my favorites. It's called Aurora, and it's a really beautiful hot foil. So these are the small hot foil rolls that I'll be using. It's different than the Deco foil for foiling with your ink machine or your laminator. This is hot foiling. So this is a special foil, and I am going to just go ahead and cut a bunch of these so that I can have them ready while my hot foil machine warms up. Now it's important to let your hot foil machine warm up and give it plenty of time because you want to make sure that you get a good result. And I find that hot foiling sometimes is a little like making pancakes, in that the first one or two are always a little bit of a flop and then the next ones are really great. So if you have some challenges with hot foiling, don't give up. Sometimes it just means you need to let it warm up a little more. Sometimes it means you need a shim, but usually look at these results. Usually I get a really good result. So here's a few that I've hot foiled, and I like to hot foil a whole bunch at once. Now this one you can see I put the paper a little bit off center. That's okay, I can cut that down and use it as a smaller panel. But I did like doing a lot of colors at once. It really does heat up my room here in Arizona. We definitely like to reduce the amount of heating time in our rooms, so I have plenty to work with. Now that one didn't hot foil perfectly either, but that's also okay because that's where we can put some of our die cut pieces right over that. But most of these are practically perfect. And I just love how these hot foil plates turn out. I love it on the colored cardstock as well. Now here's the cover plate die. It does die cut a little stitched edge around each of those motifs. And you can see that you just have to switch it a little bit to get them to line up sometimes, depending on where you hot foil on your paper, on your cardstock. So you can line them up and then trim off the edges as needed. Most of mine lined up pretty good. Some of them I did have to adjust just a little bit, but they are beautiful. So look at all these beautiful colors and the panels that we got with our hot foiling session. Now it's time to start making some cards, and you might be surprised at which ones I chose. I was surprised. Now look at these succulent dies. They all cut for this particular one that looks to me like a little like eucalyptus. They cut on one cutting die, so you know which ones are going to go together. There's no figuring it out, and that is awesome to me because sometimes it's kind of tricky to put those together, but they all cut together in one piece, and there is a layering guide, as I just showed you, that shows you just how to put them together too and which layering. And today I thought I'd use some of my Catherine Pooler inks, which I love the colors. I'm going to start off with some Daydream here for the back layering piece. Then let me move that up a little so you can see better. So I start off with Daydream, then I'm going to go in with some eucalyptus, and then the top layer will be green tea. That will give us some really fun variations in greens and blues, and I think it turns out really pretty. I'm using the grip mat underneath so that I can ink these up a little easier. It does hang on to them just a little bit for inking. Now the last layer, I wanted to clean my brush off to use the green tea, which is a little bit lighter than eucalyptus. So I have a scratch piece of paper that I just kind of brushed off that extra ink. And now I can add this to the top layer. And when we layer these together, you'll see how fun those colors are. So here we go. Let me just get rid of the little extra pieces. We'll layer those together, and I'm going to use some liquid adhesive to put them all together. But look at the pretty results we get, and I just love these layering dies. So there's our first one. Now, it does look like I have quite a few die cuts on my desk here, which I do, but I am going to get them nice and organized. For this little one, I'm using some sage and then a little bit of pink ink on the top of the second layer. I'll use some sage up to that top portion as well. And then when I layer them together, you get a really fun variation in color, which I do here in Arizona see a lot of succulents, and some of them have pink on the tops, which I like. This also kind of reminded me of a thistle too, so you could use it for that if you wanted to. Now let's go in with some royal treatment, flirty fuchsia, and sparkling berry colors to make this next one. And as I started inking this, I realized, you know what, that is a really dark purple. It's probably going to stain my grip mat, which I don't enjoy. So I quickly cleaned that up, and I'm going to use some scrap paper now to ink on these really dark colors. That will save my grip mat just a little bit. So that's why I changed, just thought I would explain that. I really like to save, keep it as clean as I can. If you're anything like me, you might understand. So there we go. I am just going to get rid of the little centerpieces because those little triangles help you to line this up, and by lining the triangles up in the center, you can pretty much line your succulents up perfectly every time. So I will follow those triangle guides to put this together, and you can see that these purples, I am going to use a little sage on this one as well. The purples and the greens and the pinks look really great together. Now I got a little off camera here, so I'm going to speed through to the end, and we'll put this together. Just a light layer of sage on the top one there, and then I'll add a little bit of the Daydream to this one as well. There we go. And now I'll go ahead and glue all that together, and you can see just how beautiful all these colors are looking. Now the fun thing about succulents is you can add whatever colors you want. There are some really colorful ones out there. So look how fun that one turned out. And now let's do this last one, which is the large one here. And there are a few more pieces to this one. I'm going to get rid of the center pieces that we don't need. So I'm going to use sage, eucalyptus, and green tea on this one as well, just to create our largest succulent. And I just love how these turn out. Like, I was super excited to see this die set brand new from Crafty Meraki because I'm an Arizona girl. So of course, I just love it. There's the eucalyptus on those other layers. And then I'll finish off a little sparkling berry. And here's where I'm a little off screen as well. I apologize. I'll bring that up into screen in just a moment as I put it together. So again, following the triangle key to get them all lined up perfectly, and you know just how they go. No guesswork. They come together beautifully and perfectly. So liquid adhesive is super easy to use. It's my preferred method, but you could also use a tape runner, or you could add some stick-it adhesive or double-sided adhesive to the paper before you cut it out. Then all you have to do is remove that backer sheet, and then they are like stickers to put together. So whichever way you like the best. And there we go. There's all our succulents. So let's put this together. I have already die cut out that Terrarium add-on piece in a brown cardstock. We are going to give it a little bit of a treatment though to make it fancier. Now I'm just going to arrange these in a way that I like. I think I'll use these three for this card here. And for the dirt, I'm just going to call this the dirt in the bottom of the terrarium or the soil. I'm just going to use a little more brown ink to ink around the edges, give it a little darker look. This I did cut out of craft cardstock already, so just darkening that up just a touch. And now I'm going to use some foundry wax on each of these. I'm using the copper and the gold color, and all I'm going to do is shake those really well. I'm going to still use the same scratch paper that I used for the inking. And now I'm just taking my finger, I'm just going to put some of this foundry wax all over the terrarium. Now this does harden pretty quickly, so you have to work fast. So I only just put a little tiny bit out, just enough that I can use before it hardens. And then I just will add the copper and the gold kind of randomly all over the brown cardstock. Once we're done with this part, I'll use my heat tool to heat set that, and it's going to give it a nice shiny finish. Some of the brown paper will shine through, so you can see it there. And now I'll use my heat gun. I'm going to hold that with some reverse tweezers here, and I'm going to heat that up, and you'll see some of it change right before your eyes. Hopefully you'll be able to see that in the video. It becomes a lot shinier. It's a really fun look with the gold and the copper and the brown all together. I kind of like it. So see, you see some of that changing. I think it's a little harder to see than in real life in the video here. But there we go. There's our terrarium. See all the colors in there? Really, really fun. So that's going to go over our succulents here. So I'm going to go ahead and glue all these down, and then I'll glue the terrarium right over the top. It's going to go something like this. So there we go. And then I'll just add a little sentiment that says happy hello. And look at our background. I chose the pink one. Isn't that weird? I did not expect to choose the pink one, but it complemented my succulent that has the pink in the center there so well. I also used some of those beautiful pearls that are pink, and so it all brought it together. And look at that foil shining in the background. I did create one other card off screen, and I'll show it to you here with that maze background that's foiled with the copper. I really thought the copper complemented these succulents really well, and I used 3 different succulents on this one and added a sentiment that says warm wishes. It certainly is warm already here in Arizona. I'm sending you some of my warm wishes. So there's both of our cards today. It was so much fun to create these hot foil backgrounds and then put together all the succulents to create these cards. I still have lots of extra pieces I can use to build up other cards as well. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel. I'll be back real soon to share more. Bye-bye.